Hi guys, so part 2 to starting a business and how I keep it afloat. This part is going to be more so about what happened when I opened and when people actually started coming and giving me money, and how I coped with all the things that happened and all the things that went wrong. Firstly, I'd like to say that in the first few months of business, there was like maybe, we opened in September, it wasn't until the following January that really we started to build our customer base. There were times where there were days with no customers, months where I couldn't pay rent and I had to have that awkward conversation with your landlord slash friend that you can't pay rent and you're doing your best, and that's all I could do. Thank God I had a really understanding landlord who had been in the same situation when she opened her business and was actually a shoulder to cry on instead of somebody to be scared of. So that was again a bit of luck and something I was really lucky to have. There were loads of things obviously that went wrong. For example, there was the software that we were using, they were a new company and it ended up just not working out, and I had to change software, which was extremely stressful, having to remove all the clients from one software, put them into a new software and introduce them to that software. Yeah, that was major and something that I felt was beyond my expertise. I wasn't a tech and I'm not a technical person, so it was overwhelming, and definitely there were times where I wanted to give up, but I didn't. So yeah, just things that went wrong. Obviously there's going to be so many times that you fail, and the most important thing is that you do not see failure as the end result, that you recognize failure as an option to grow or a chance to learn, and you are in control of how you perceive those failures. And was it something that you could have maybe delegated to somebody else, or is it something that you simply need to work on in yourself? So let's say, for example, there were numerous occasions where either myself or staff members were covering for other people in the studio and forgot and didn't show up to a class, and it happened to me once or more than once, where I would get a call or an email from a client saying, hey, we're all here at the studio and there's no teacher. Is the teacher coming, or is it who's teaching? And I would have forgotten that I was teaching. Now, this is possibly the worst thing that could happen. Obviously, those clients have paid for a service and you have failed to give them not just a quality service, but you failed to give them the service, full stop. So instead of judging myself, instead of judging the staff, I accepted we're all human, we're all gonna make mistakes, and what is it that I have failed to put into context, or what is it that I have failed to do to avoid this mistake? It was a learning curve for me, definitely, to begin a company manual, which I'll get to in a minute. I think a lot of common sense is involved, and even though you may think, oh, that was something I just didn't know how to do, actually, if you just sit back and you take time to try to forecast as many of the problems that may occur as you can, and then put into place things to either avoid them, or when they happen, what to do. So let's say for me, going away on my retreats, I have to do a lot of work in order to have the place running smoothly without me. It's work, it's hard, but it's definitely much better than allowing the place to crumble when you leave. It also avoids mistakes, and it also avoids extra unnecessary work. So even though you have to put work into avoiding the mistakes, it means that you avoid the mistakes happening, firstly, which is most important, and then secondly, you avoid actually all the extra work that goes in to compensating when the mistakes happen. So obviously when teachers didn't show up to class, I had to then put in all the work to email each client to compensate for the bad experience that they had, and that's all extra work. So if you can avoid that, it actually makes your life a lot easier and a lot more stress-free in running the studio. It makes you feel accomplished. It makes you feel like you're doing something right. And obviously it builds the business a lot quicker because the customers are happier and the service is better. The second thing as well is that customer service is something that I learned was from a very early time, that customer service is the most important thing. When mistakes do happen, never think about the money that you're losing initially. It's the long-term effect that you should really be thinking of. So for example, when a customer is disappointed, I always overcompensate. I will always give them a month of free yoga or free classes or whatever it is, instead of just an email of apology. I'd much rather that client remember, wow, I was really surprised that I got a really good compensation for my bad experience, rather than, oh yeah, I got an email of apology. They're much more likely to then go off and say, oh, I was disappointed this one time, but I was really happy with my customer service and I went back. Rather than them remembering the bad experience, it ended up being, the more I compensated for any mistakes that I made, that the less impact it actually had on the business. And people are kind naturally, they are understanding naturally. So if you can come down to their level and just apologize and acknowledge the mistake and explain what you're doing to avoid it happening again, and then compensating them, it won't be as drastic a disaster as you may have originally thought. Another thing is that obviously throughout the business, advertising is something that costs a lot of money. It wasn't something that I had. Again, I had my Instagram page, which was really the backbone of my advertising and being able to grow my business or spread the word. But the main thing was that the better the experience was for my customers, the more they would talk and spread the word, the more they would bring people to the studio or talk positively about it. So really, I was very lucky in that advertising wasn't something, or isn't actually still something, that I put a lot of money into. And really, when you think that you need a lot of capital for these things in order to have a successful business, there's a lot of free content online that you can create to help your business, such as Instagram or Facebook. Websites can be built so cheaply. I did my website and I'm only 2.5 years later now getting my website done and paid for. But move away from that concept of having to have money to put into advertising. Stick to the free stuff, which is nearly just as good, and just offer a really good service. So I think a lot of the reason why I was able to keep going, even through the early stages when things were pretty grim on certain days, it was definitely a far cry from what I thought my studio would look like, customer-wise, or lack of customer. But I had obviously witnessed other studios opening and seeing that, or hearing that in the beginning of those studios opening, that the people who had opened it had done a lot of the teaching themselves. So they had opened it, run it, and done most of the teaching to save money, which is a smart move. For me, I knew myself that I am quite an introvert. I need time to process, and I thought it was worth compromising maybe the speed of the business growing, and instead investing a little bit in myself. So I had time to process things that I was maybe struggling with or finding difficult, and being able to make those things better. I knew that if I taught all of the classes, I would burn out and I would be extremely unhappy. I'd end up resenting the teaching, the studio, and end up not being able to give my clients everything that I knew I was capable of giving. So I think that's a pretty big thing to share, that it's not always best to save all the money and do everything yourself, that allocate things that you're not good at, like accounts. If I had tried to do my own accounts again, we wouldn't be in business. I hired Connor, who was an accountant and is still my accountant. From day one, invested in a staff that would bring to the studio what I was maybe not able to bring to the studio. So I hired staff that were good at different things to me, teachers who offered different types of yoga, because I knew that I would feel way too much pressure in having to give everything or represent everything that the studio was about. And it also just made it a little bit more varied for the customers and the client and the clientele, which I think was a really positive aspect to the studio from the very beginning. There are certain realities that you're going to also have to face in owning your own business, is that especially with a yoga studio, I have found it really lonely. I don't have a team that I get to bounce ideas off. It's very much, thank God I had Connor, because he was at the time as well starting his own business. So we were really lucky that we had each other to kind of bounce these ideas off and get excited, because it's really easy to get excited and then for that excitement just to dissipate very quickly. And also a lot of these plans or dreams that you start to invest in take time, and that's really hard when you don't have a team to maybe do some of the work or help you with the work, or to keep you going or motivated while you're putting the work in. And that can be really hard and lonely, and you can tend to have lots of ideas and a lot of them just fall by the wayside because you lose sight of the end result. So I would say join an online group or a meetup group or whatever it is, or work in an office space, anything that will keep you inspired. I also had to sacrifice a lot of my own yoga teaching journey. I have been in business now for 2.5 years, and I've only done about 300-hour yoga teacher training, which is not a lot, and I would absolutely love for myself and for my clients to be able to take time off and to spend money on improving my teaching. Unfortunately, I've had to sacrifice that because I don't have the time or the money. I have to invest that money instead into the business, and those are hard decisions to make, especially when you want to be selfish and you want to invest in your own career. But again, you have to be so patient, and you have to know that you can't do everything at once, and one goal is enough, and try not to be so hard on yourself. Eventually you will get to a place where you can invest in yourself. There are days where I have felt like I'm not doing my best, that mistakes have happened, and I have questioned my work ethic, whether I'm capable enough, whether I'm worthy to be running a studio and offering a paid service to people. I think you'll find that often when you think you're not doing your best, you are. There's been a lot of days where I think that, you know, you take on success or what other people are showing they think success is, and you compare your success to theirs, and you may feel like you're falling short. And it's on those days where I might get an email from a client saying, I was having a bad day, and your class today, or the class with Katie or Neve or whoever it was, just has uplifted me and has put everything in perspective, and thank you for offering, you know, this space to us. And you have to always remember that you probably are doing your best, and if you don't think you're doing your best, probably you need time to process, to take some notes, and maybe you're finding the stress too much. I find doing CBT was extremely helpful. It helped me stop spiraling out of control with my thoughts, knowing that I had the choice to either wallow in self-pity when things went wrong, or get up off my ass and reassess, reroute, that failure isn't final, that it's always just an option to maybe change things up, or wake up and see that you're wasting energy in that direction and need just a new direction, a fresh thought process. And when your list is getting really long, take the top 3 and focus on those top 3. I promise when you get to those, when you complete those top 3 on your to-do list, you see that most of the other things on your list either were not important or seem a lot less daunting. It's funny how your dream can kind of change as your business grows. So I would probably say that I wanted, you know, the most successful studio. I wanted then to get so busy that I would open a bigger one. But actually, I think that again is thinking about what other people have done. And for example, let's say the Yoga Hub have now maybe 4 studios or whatever it is all over Dublin, and they're all really busy and all that. That's their goal and that's their dream. And actually I realized that that is not my dream. I don't want to be tied down to, you know, with bigger studios comes more admin and more time, and I want to continue sharing this amazing family vibe that we have created in Sweaty Soul. Growing our family and our community has been the best part, and I want to continue doing that. But for me, like, what makes me really happy, and I realized when Connor asked me, actually, Molly, like, do you really want to open another studio? Like, you know, it's a lot of stress, it's a lot of work, and you know, what is that the thing that makes you happiest, doing that like studio admin, or is there something else that makes you happier? And I realized like my retreats are what really make me happy. So again, it's really important to take time to allow your dream to grow, to change, and to reassess, and also try to be as authentic as you can, because if you follow somebody else's path, you're going to end up somewhere unhappy and somewhere that doesn't actually give you a lot of joy. And then when you're not somewhere that you feel that's authentic to you, you won't be able to be inspired or motivated, which are things that are hard to do on the best of days when you are in somewhere that you're passionate about. So really important that when you grow your dream, or when you get to your goal and start to make the next plans or the next steps, that you take time to process and take time to analyze what has happened so far, and use what you've learned to see what you were good at, what you learned, what you didn't like, and what were the things that you actually maybe surprised yourself and really enjoyed. So yeah, my goals for Sweaty Soul are definitely just to continue doing what we're doing, to invest more in my studio, in making it the happiest place for our clients and for our teachers. I would love to pay more, so I want to obviously get more customers, which will bring more money, and then be able to pay more to my staff, because without them, they are the heart and the soul to our space, and without them I'd be completely lost. So I want to give back to them, and then I'd like to eventually be able to invest in my teacher training, and improve my teaching, and improve my yoga skills as a teacher, and just explore that, see where I would like to perhaps hone in on a specific skill or a specific area in yoga, whether it's anatomy or mental health. I would also love to do a little bit more public speaking, so I feel like this is part of that. So again, I'm starting small, just doing it a bit on YouTube, but I'd like to maybe do a little bit of life coaching or public speaking, and helping people find what inspires them. And then obviously my retreats. So I love doing my retreats. They give me that extra bit of time to get to know my clients and spend quality time with them and improve their practice. And the retreats I host in Crete are definitely, I've witnessed them just be life-changing for the people that come. They always come home and something just in their life completely changes, whether they let go of something that was dragging them down or they take that leap into a new job or a new lifestyle or whatever it is. So seeing those results from a week in Crete with a bit of yoga is just the most amazing thing, and I'm addicted to it. So I would love to do more of them. So yeah, for the time being, that's kind of my Sweaty Soul and Molly McKeever Yoga goal, and I'm taking it step by step, slowly. Again, you start small, and if you're passionate and if you acknowledge failure and try not let it slow you down, but allow it to direct you on the path you're meant to be on, I believe that I can achieve my goals, and I believe that you can achieve your goals. So I really hope that the points that I've made today will help you, firstly, maybe gain the confidence to see that anyone can start a business, no matter how small your idea is. If you are passionate and believe in it, that it is possible. If it's meant to be, it will be. I truly believe that I was meant to do what I'm doing. It doesn't always seem like it's the most rewarding or money-wise, I mean, but that 70 or maybe 80% of the time, I am so proud of the business that I've built, the connections that I've made, and the things that I've learned in the meantime are so valuable to not only my career, but just my life in general, and the decisions that I've made. I'm so happy I made the decision to open a business and to find my confidence in opening that business. I never really believed in myself, or I doubted always my work ethic and labeled myself as lazy. It took somebody else to tell me that that wasn't true, that I was capable of it. And with that, I was able to begin small, and I might not have the most successful studio in Dublin, in Ireland or whatever, but for me, it has been the most rewarding journey just to offer yoga to the people in the IFSC, and to watch my business grow from there into successful retreats or to full retreats and a YouTube channel. I don't regret a second of it, and I'm so proud of the belief that I had that I could change people's lives, and because I was passionate about it and because I had that belief, it came true, and I have changed people's lives and they have changed mine, and I'm so grateful for all of my sweaty souls. So thank you all for being part of my journey, and I'm gonna probably do more of these business style videos, things that I learn. If there's specific questions you have about maybe starting retreats as yoga teachers, if you want me to do more of a yoga focused video, please do let me know. I love these chat style videos, so always feel free to message me on Instagram, Molly McKeever Yoga. I look forward to chatting to you in the future. Okay, have a great day.